He can solve all your problems. Nothing is too big for God.
That is
God,
very true. And I
God can
know there
solve
are a lot of
anything.
people out there, especially of late, that
Yes,
have struggles and things that they worry
yes,
about. The
that's
hardest
right.
thing sometimes is to give up and say, hey, I need some help, and go talk to the person that is
Mhm.
next to you, talk to a friend, find a
Yes,
resource for your question. There are a lot of great
yes,
resources in the community, online, and on your local web page in your city that will give you what you need. A really great resource for artists is our Coral Springs Museum here in Coral Springs. It is csmoa.org, Coral Springs Museum of Art. We have wonderful
yes.
classes and wonderful ways that you can put your vision that you get from the word into reality. And there are lots of words out
Absolutely.
there and lots of wonderful names out there
Mhm.
of
And
artists that
if
God knows.
and you're absolutely right. And and sometimes if people can't um, find a place like that. Sometimes even if you go to your local church, and believe me, there's a lot of people in the church that probably they don't say what they do, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And if you was to, who knows, God will guide you to that one person and say, I'm this kind of person. I'm an artist that has this gift, and I really don't know. And you just happen to be talking to a person that says, "Well, you know what? I'm a promotive artist." How strange is that?
Mm-hmm.
That's how God works. You talking to
Absolutely.
somebody in your church, and all of a sudden, boom! I'm like, "Oh my
I heard a
gosh!"
story the other day of a young man who spent a year praying in a
Mhm.
church. Everybody saw
Mm.
him, everybody knew he was there, but nobody reached out to him. And that
Mm.
very next Sunday, he was gone. And when people would
Mm.
ask why, he would say, oh, well, God has not answered my prayers. And you know what?
Mm.
God answers prayers. He may not answer them the way that you see it should be, but the easiest, most wonderful way to find that person is to
Mhm. It's
reach
by
out
speaking.
and ask
Mhm.
in
That's
shul
right.
after church. That's We have a really neat tradition called an oneg where we get together after the services is over and talk and maybe eat. Hey, why not, right? Eat.
Yeah, and you know what? Also, not only that, but in every church, there's either Bible study groups, there's either leader groups. There's
Mm-hmm.
always groups. If you get involved in your church and you just sit down and don't reach out to nobody, they don't know that you want to reach out too because we respect people's privacy. But
Absolutely.
I'm a talker, Catherine. I will go out there and say,
Me
okay,
too.
I need to go. I will go out there and say, this is, I need help and this. And I have so many people that I talk to and speak to. You're one
Mm-hmm.
of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I just find that when you do that, you end up finding the right people to feed what you're getting. It's like, oh, thank you,
Absolutely.
Jesus, for bringing me that
Mm-hmm.
person. Thank you, Jesus, for just doing what you're doing in my life. Thank you for reaching. It's even in your own church, you just find the beautiful people there waiting to answer your questions and help. They're eager to help. They just
Absolutely.
don't know who to help.
Absolutely. So, reaching out, that's what God gave us two hands for. One of them is to hang on to our firm foundation, and the other one is to reach out and talk and work with people to bring
Mm-hmm.
that better world right here on earth. And we appreciate that just as much as anybody. And I love the fact that you are going to continue to meet with us and share word with
Yes,
us and give us a
absolutely. It was my
wonderful
pleasure
jump
for you
start.
to
It's
invite me.
fabulous.
Yes, it was beautiful.
Yes, absolutely. Now, we are both also artists. We are also business owners. We are also workers. And we know that it's a lot of work, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
The
absolutely.
work is
Uh,
the part that is hard to start.
Yes, and it takes, like I said last time, on the first time I saw you, it's not overnight. A lot of people, when they come into business, they think it's an overnight success. It has taken me 2 years
Hmm.
to finally plant and get noticed. 2 years.
And I
But you
know
know what?
artists who started,
Yes.
like, I didn't even start painting until I was 42, right?
Mm. Mhm.
So
Mhm.
when it is time, God will tell you, something will tell you that it's time for
Mhm.
you to pick up that brush, for you to do what it is that God meant you to do. Because I've
Yes.
always said that when you do,
Mhm.
you will set this world on fire,
That's right.
and in a
That's
good
right.
way, too. If
Yeah.
you, and in the next couple of weeks, we are going to do a lot of really wonderful programs about the quality of the message and the intersection of a lot of things, the intersection of science and art through artificial intelligence, the idea of retreat. Sometimes it's a giving up to get something.
Mhm.
Sometimes you have to just sit back, hold still,
Mhm.
and say, "Bring it on. I'll see it." Because this world is a
Yeah.
very heavy, very busy, very fast place, and sometimes it helps to slow down.
Yes. Just to take a breather and say, God, please be with me, because I tell you right now, every morning He gives me my wisdom. Sometimes I have to sleep with a notebook on my nightstand,
Hmm.
because when he talks to me, it happens to be always at 2:45 in the morning or 3. I don't know who else is out there, but it's always
Oh, I'm
between
there.
2:30,
Yeah.
30,
Hmm.
or 2 in the morning, and he gives me an idea for my product, and I'm like, okay. So now I have learned to either talk on my phone, or now I have a little notebook and I write the idea down, and then I go
Hmm.
back to sleep.
The
You know,
neurologists
it's
have a word for that too. It's called lucid dreaming. It's proven
uh,
scientifically that a lot
mhm.
of great ideas can come to you in those wee hours, and that
You
it
want to
is a
know what he
great
showed
idea
me?
to write them down so you don't lose them.
You want to hear the latest?
Sure.
The
Absolutely.
latest he gave me was um, making a clock looking like wood with an epoxy beautiful pearlescent brown with gold in it.
That sounds beautiful. I
Yeah,
would
right? I was like, oh my
absolutely.
gosh, I got to do that.
I would absolutely love, and it's funny, I get a lot of my inspirations during times of meditation, times of sleep, times
Mhm.
when you slow down and you say,
Yes.
hey, just listen. Put the ears up, put your antenna up, put your
Yes.
put your mind in the right place, which sometimes is no
Yes.
place. I've listened to
Absolutely.
music also. I've done, you can look at candles. It's called focused attention. It gets your
Mhm.
mind out of that right brain part that's very logical and into the other part that's very artistic and very accepting and receptive,
Mhm.
because you
They
have to
say
be a
left
receiver
brain, right
as
brain.
much as an
You know.
instrument. Hmm.
They do too. They got left brain, right brain, and they always tell us um how things, work in our mind, and how the artistic, and then you have these people with the math and science. I am not a math and science person. I'm telling you that right now.
Well, here's
No
the
math
thing.
and science for me.
Here's the beauty of the thing. A lot of musicians are also mathematicians. Music is very
Wow.
ordered and logical
Yes.
in the sense that it has rhythm, it has beat, it has a snap that you can follow. And yeah, you can dance to it. A lot of
Mhm.
really good gospel musicians and songwriters receive their messages from God, from wherever they come from. God knows. God only knows. And they sit and they say, okay, what am I hearing? So the logical part is putting it down on paper and bringing it to
Mhm.
life via an instrument or even digitally. I have known musicians who are not singers and not players, but they can hear a piece of music on a computer put it together with other things, including voices, and come out with something that is completely original and absolutely lovely.
Yeah.
In fact, that's one of the things we're going to explore in the next few sessions here in the creative space. All kinds of digital media out there. There's what they
Mhm.
call image creators, where you can say get on your computer and get into your usual search engine and say create an image that does that's a dog playing poker, for example.
Mhm.
Create an image of an angel rising through a cloud. You can do just about anything with
Mm.
the in partnership and full transparency with the new digital tools we have out there, and bearing in
Yeah.
mind that if you use something, say something, give credit to the original that created it. We have always said that whenever you can, let everybody know who the artist is that we speak about. We give credit where credit is due, always. And that
Yeah.
makes sure that everybody is happy and gets the props and the shout outs and the contact that they need and deserve to be successful in a world that can get very crazy and very fast. It is still the best thing in the world to slow down and look around and make friends.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the things that I enjoy when, you know, I create this new. I was in Purdue University, and it was a beautiful college, and I went to their arts area, and everything was in an iMac computer. It's now become the AI. So I know exactly what you're talking about
Mm-hmm.
when they're talking about the AIs and the way. And I mean, it's still art because they're sitting there and they're looking at this screen.
Absolutely.
And girl, I could not even know what they were doing and how they got there or anything. I was just in amazement of how they're making 3D images, 4D images, art, and creative arts through comics
Absolutely.
and things. It's
It's
amazing.
amazing. It
I
truly
was
is.
like, oh my gosh. And I just say that I said this is amazing. So yeah, it's a new way that they're doing right now, creative art through AI,
Mm-hmm.
but
New but
and that's
not,
okay.
because what
It's
happens is that you the artificial intelligence engine that a lot of these
mhm.
image creators work on takes images
Mhm.
from throughout the internet universe, you'd call it, and it
Mhm.
gives you a presentation of something that may be a compilation, maybe but it's a new take on the idea that you gave it, and it
Mhm.
is your thought that you can take that idea
Mhm.
as a jump start. We call them artist prompts because what they do is they get you started. It's like a it's like a cue or for an
Mhm.
actor or a note for a musician. It's just a note,
Right.
and it's enough to get you started going in a direction that you would like to go in. Now,
Right.
that's why what I say is I do remind people that sometimes they pull these images from different places, and what you do is if you can, you go back and you credit the original artist. I do a lot of collage art, which means
Mhm.
that you take pictures and different things from different places. There are places that you can go that are made so that you can design your collage from things that are fully permitted and open to use for artists, which is a great
Mhm.
thing. So, that is a way that people create whole new altered art from old photographs. I use buttons. I've used yarn. I've used thread. I even used a spoon and a fork from when I was a little baby for my baby food.
Mhm.
You take that,
Mhm.
you put it in a shadow box, and you have a whole new creation that you can hand down to your kids and your grandkids and keep in your family.
Mhm. Mhm.
One of
Oh, don't get me wrong. I love. I'm still always gonna love a good acrylic paint canvas and a paintbrush.
Oh, me too,
Because
for sure,
that's
absolutely.
that is
Yeah.
my joy. That's
Hmm.
my how I say my getaway from my mind and things like that. And
Absolutely.
that's always. I mean, but it's still fascinating that they can take our own picture and put it in this and make totally something different out of it.
And the struggle right now for people who do this is how you get paid, given that things have
Mm.
changed a lot in what finally gets shown in the result on the screen, or in the
Yeah.
radio, or on the paper, or on a show or a series.
Mhm.
Bear in mind, when you cut a series in half and you got 6 episodes instead of 12, you got an artist that's
Mhm.
out of work for 6 episodes, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So
Yeah.
now the struggle is in the actual how we change the system so it works great for everybody. And
Right.
that's one of my passions too, is that when you see something that needs changing, say something,
Mhm.
right? Um,
Absolutely.
absolutely. And I have been totally supportive of every worker who needs a prop, who needs a boost, who has a cause and says, there's something that needs changing. Maybe your
Mhm.
passion, your gift from God is the ability to change things.
Right.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Um, but this is truly amazing. What we have um set on us and everything, and what God is doing. Um, and I invite everyone to just um come and join and speak about your art. Even if it's in the AI, is in all kind of art. This is what this creative space is for. You know.
Absolutely. We are a safe space designed for everyone to come and speak on all matters artistic and all matters of beauty and peace, because that's what we are.
Mhm.
We are a peaceful, safe
Yeah.
space for all artists, and we welcome artists of every discipline. We've had musicians in here. We've had magicians, actually, as a guest one time.
Mhm.
And we are here every week in the creative space at 10:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. with our
And
wonderful
art in
word of the
Central
day
Time.
host. That's right.
Yes. And Central Time is 9:30. So let's not forget our
Yes.
Central people,
Yes, that's
at
right.
9:30 and stuff like that. Hey, remember we left off about the crosses? Did you get them?
Yes, I did. Actually, I did. And I am going to start with a question. And it's a real easy one.
Uh-huh.
We originally met starting with a book called
Mhm.
The Battlefield of the Mind. What I am
Mhm.
looking for you to receive your gift is the artist of that book. Call in, go live on Facebook, give us the answer. We will send you your gift the minute we hear it. And it is
Yes,
in the
absolutely.
previous
I'm excited.
episodes. So you can go get those on YouTube at youtube.com Omega Radio. And we
Yes,
are
I am
here
so excited.
every day, every Wednesday at 10:30 to talk all things art, beauty, and joy, and to be safe here in the creative space. I hope you can join me, Catherine Shapiro, and my wonderful Word of the Day guest host, Jeanette Jordan, in a conversation of all kinds and all things art. We also have other guests coming up. We have a friend from the Coral Springs Museum next week, our friend Daniel Listven. We have all kinds of talk about that artificial intelligence AI space that we're in now. Next week, tune in, be safe, be kind, create. Create something new. every day. Create it even if it scares you, because believe me, it will. But it'll be worth every minute. See you next time when you join me in the creative space.
You are beautiful, no matter what they say. Words can't bring you down. No, no. You are beautiful in every single way. Yes, words can't bring you down. Oh, no. So don't you bring me down today. No matter what we do, no matter what we do, I am beautiful.
Tune in and listen to